coming on the air tonight as the superintendent of Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools is minutes away from addressing the shooting of a student at Reynolds High School today. There she is at the podium. Let's listen in.
We had an altercation and one of our students, from what I understand, was shot in the leg. Our student is recovering and law enforcement is investigating what happened. So as far as suspects and what has happened since then, we are waiting to find out ourselves from law enforcement about where we are with that. I will say that all of our students that were still on campus, both at Wiley and Reynolds, went to a reunification site, which was Harris Teeter. All we reported at 7, all were at that point taken home or picked up, taken home by bus or picked up. So all of our students are accounted for and safe. We sent a message to all of our families this evening, making sure that everyone knew what we knew at the time. Again, law enforcement will continue to report as they know more, and we'll keep our families posted about what we need to report on. We do have our students at both Wiley and Reynolds. It happened between both campuses. We do have them all coming to school tomorrow, and there will be more law enforcement presence just as a precaution, safety precaution, and also we will have our crisis teams. You know, it happened, Wiley students were already dismissed, so the only students on campus there were if they were in an after-school, any kind of after-school program. Reynolds had just started dismissal, so most students were not out in that area yet, but we will still have our crisis teams on campus to talk to any students that may have been present or maybe watching the news and maybe just worried in general because of what happened. And so we will have our crisis teams on campus tomorrow. So with that, I will open up to questions.
Superintendent McManus, thank you for your time tonight. What's your overall general reaction to today's events?
So our number one priority is keeping our students safe. I mean, that comes first and foremost. And so my general reaction is that this type of incident should not happen anywhere near one of our schools and really anywhere in our community at all. And so I first go to our goal is to keep our students safe every second. So my reaction is, you know, why does anyone feel the need to carry weapons? Why does anyone feel the need to take weapons out? Like, I have probably the same reaction that most people have. But again, my ultimate goal was making sure that our families knew that students were accounted for, all students were safe, and then tomorrow is a day, and what do we do to make sure that we do everything in our power to keep our students safe in school and that they feel good coming back tomorrow. So those are the things that are most on my mind. Yep.
So, Superintendent, I have a question. After the bell rings at Reynolds at like 3:40, from what I understand, the shooting occurred about 3:49. There's probably a large number of students who are just milling around, maybe bus lot situation. Do those kids then, do they just get called back into the school, or I guess some probably just took up on their own? Do you have any idea how many kids might have been involved in, like, that you had to, you know,
to like move back into the building?
Yeah, and then over to, I guess it was the Cloverdale shopping area.
How many, do you know how many kids went to the reunification site?
I don't know the exact number. I would say that when I got there was 2 gyms.
Yeah, come on in.
So if you're familiar with the area, there are 2 gyms, the Bryson gym and then the auxiliary gym. And so the students that were on the bus lot or moving towards the bus lot to go home were ushered into those 2 gyms and secured. And there were still some students that were, in the other side of this campus where the main buildings are up on Hawthorne, and they were in lockdown up there. So at one point, I think I was told it was somewhere around 300 students in the main part of the building, and then probably another 300 students that may be in 300 to 400 students that was between the 2 gyms.
Do you know where the incident occurred? I know it was outside of the school, but I saw different things online.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, and this is going to go by what I know, and Jonathan, correct me if I'm wrong, but out kind of, you know, there is a tunnel that goes between the campus, in between parts of the campus, but it was up on Northwest Boulevard, like not in the tunnel, because that was first. You know, of course, when things like this happen, you start to get rumors, and I think the accurate part is kind of up above the tunnel on Northwest Boulevard. Is that accurate, Jonathan?
Yes.
Yep.
Have you had the chance to speak with the student, maybe his family? How are they?
No, I have gone through the principal. Before this meeting started, I was on the phone with the school principal, and he was on the phone with the victim's brother. Of course, parents talking to the doctor. So I have not personally spoken, but I'm going through the principal at this time to make sure that he was okay. And I was very, very glad to hear that he was doing fine. When he left the campus, from what I understand, he was fine. But you never know. I mean, so he is recovering. Yes, sir.
I was at the Harris Teeter where parents and students alike were crying and anxious and everything. Why do you think having school tomorrow is the best decision after such a traumatic experience for a lot of people?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we have many students that need support, and we've got teams that are able to do that. I think that I talked to the principal about his staff and where they were, and he was in agreement that let's bring our kids to school and have them in where they're engaged in learning and continue to engage in learning. You know, come to a place where they also are supported with breakfast and lunch and just and a staff of people that want to support them and a safety team that can support them through that. Again, the majority of students, if we think about incidents like this, a lot of the fear comes from all that is happening around them. So from the reunification site, not knowing what happened, most of the students that were directly involved, and I'm not sure how many, like in that area, it wasn't that many from what I understand. Since dismissal had just started, the masses of students had not left the building yet. So we're going to make sure we know who was around the area. We can provide that support. We make sure our teams are there to support students that might have been in that direct area. And we think that's very important that students have adults that can talk to them that are trained crisis team adults. And so that was the decision today based on several factors. And that was our decision between our staff, between law enforcement, and between the school staff.
Follow-up question, how do you feel about communication today? A lot of parents that are at the Harris Teeter are upset that they found out from their kids first before the school system when it comes to what happened. So how do you communicate with?
So we sent a message. Honestly, as soon as we were informed about what to report, we sent a message out to families immediately. And it was a very general message first, and then we sent a second message, and then we sent a third message. So we've sent 3 messages out. To be honest with you, today with cell phones, the reason, we say kids have cell phones, parents wanted them to have cell phones for a reason. So students, a lot of what was happening is students calling their parents, and that is a normal thing today when you have cell phones. And so a child can get their parent on the line faster than a district can send out a mass message to the entire school of parents. So we got it done pretty quickly. Parents, again, should have by now gotten 3 messages from us, from Reynolds, and then a mass message to the entire district alerting them to what happened.
You said extra SROs and then the crisis team tomorrow on campuses.
Yes.
What's next? I mean, how do we move forward from this security-wise, emotionally, both staff and students? What is next?
Mm-hmm. Well, we will keep teams there as long as we need to, and that is what we do with any kind of crisis situation or emergency. We've got our crisis team that stays as long as necessary. And that, again, they're there. They don't force themselves on any student, but they make themselves, students, aware of that they're there, anyone that needs to talk. So they'll stay there as long as they need to. It could be till the end of the week if necessary, or into next week if necessary. Law enforcement, again, they will continue to partner with us as long as they also feel necessary, as long as they feel that's necessary as well. So again, we are the safety precautions that are taken every day. Again, we don't know the details of exactly what happened, but again, it happened, violence anywhere is a major problem, and we have got to address this as a community. I know we are addressing as a community. I am in many community groups that come together regularly with law enforcement and community providers, and violence is a regular conversation, and there's so many interventions being done right now to address it. So I think as the investigation unravels and we learn more, we will know any additional next steps we need to take.
Follow up on that, just because you're talking about violence and we don't have to go into the other situations, but the Glenn fight, bus drivers worried about behavior, now this. I mean, it seems like you guys can't catch a break when it comes to the violence. I mean,
yeah. I will tell you, and I have many colleagues that are. This is an issue, and this is an issue across so many districts and across not just in North Carolina but across the country. So what I will tell you is, this is why we feel that the interventions that we are working on daily with students to actually preventative methods are critical. And that is why we are so focused on that. We also, though, have very specific expectations. We rolled out some today to our bus drivers as a first look at here are the expectations that will be on buses and here are what's going to happen, because we've got to have safety on buses. And students need to adhere to that safety, and so do their parents, and their parents need to help us with that. But at the end of the day, the idea of violence, I will say that after we've said this since post-pandemic, that there has been an uptick in mental health concerns and in behavioral health concerns, and that is not created or fabricated. That is the truth. We've seen that in many ways. And so we will just continue to create environments that are safe for kids and continue to increase sense of belonging in our schools, continue to focus on mentorship with adults within schools, mental health supports and counselors and social workers, and adding those as much as we can to make sure that our kids are getting the support they need. There are adults out in our community that need that same level of support that we may not have access to. So the entire community is part of solving this issue of violence. Yes.
When it comes to solving this issue of violence that you're talking about, and you've already mentioned how you will have crisis teams, you'll have SROs on hand, and an increased presence throughout the rest of this week. Looking past that, will the school system reevaluate security and safety at schools in the long term? I know we're already talking about they're using metal detectors, maybe increase SROs presences at certain schools. How does this factor into security concerns moving into the far future?
We are always, this incident in itself is not prompting all of the conversations we've been having for 3 to 4 years around security, and probably before that. I mean, we have enhanced security measures and will continue to do so, from one-way access into buildings to things like locking doors and closing doors and not opening doors. In the case the other day that people asked about the door, that was not an intentional door open. That was a student being nice because they saw another student trying to get into that they thought was a student trying to get in. It is about reinforcing the expectations that we have already in place to prevent. It is the hardening of our campuses. And so we've talked about weapons detection over and over. We have been piloting this year the OpenGate weapons detection system. Our board has been in conversations about that. We've been in conversations with our local foundation about potentially helping fund that or helping raise funds to actually fund that. So it is, safety is not one thing. It is all of the things working in tandem, and that is, again, keeping doors closed, making sure we don't open doors, making sure that but use the access points and don't let just random people come into building. There's so many factors, and then again, it's about making sure those preventative measures are regularly in place every day in our schools so that kids know. Report when you see something. I mean, the See Something, Say Something app has been an incredible tool for us that has led to many investigations that have prevented potential incidents from happening. So again, it's not one thing. There are many parts to this safety and security. And Jonathan and his team, they are regularly, we increased his team a few years ago because we need their finger on the pulse across this district. And they're assigned to different areas. They're constantly in schools. So again, it is an all-in effort because safety will continue to be our #1 priority for our students.
I guess another question that I have, we know that some extracurricular activities, some games that were scheduled for tonight were canceled. Will that go on for the rest of this week? Is it adjusted today?
No, I know of, and I don't know if there were games on campus, but everything kind of was locked down. We're not going to have games on campus, but we did have games off campus, and those were played, and we did have to get message, I know, to one group of parents of athletes, I think that might have been at Parkland at a game, to just have them pick up their children there or back at the reunification site. So that was one I know of. Were there any others of games?
That's the only one I know.
That's the only one you knew about? That's the one I was contacted about. But I don't know of any extracurriculars that might have been on campus would have been probably canceled or postponed to another time. Yeah.
How frustrating is it? There's not much you can do as a school system for everything you did. This didn't happen in your school, it happened kind of off campus. How frustrating is that it's kind of out of your control and it's not really something that you can, that's not his gun, that's the parents' gun. So kind of how frustrating is that, and what would you say to parents that they need to look out for before their kid walks out the door and stuff like that?
Yeah. I will tell you that our board, a few years ago, we had a student group that came forward and talked about safe storage. And our board passed a resolution that night in collaboration, I mean, in support of our students, that said we have got to really focus on safe storage of weapons. It is very frustrating and I don't know who the suspect is, so I don't know if they were an adult. I don't know anything about them. But it is very frustrating that guns are accessible to people like that. And so we will continue to encourage within our household safe storage of weapons. I mean, that should be just a given across the board. Again, we really want to focus on the work at hand, which is making sure that our kids are future ready. And there is so much involved in that. So the frustration is real when it comes to, but more than that is, we have an obligation to keep our students safe. And like when they walk on that bus or walk out of a car into our campuses every day, or even walking down the street from our campus to get from the campus to a bus or get from the campus to practice somewhere, they should feel safe. And so it is concerning to me that we are continuously having to address this issue of safety, but I will tell you, it is what we have to do. We are in these times that we are in. And we're just going to stay the course. We're going to stay the course. We're going to continue to focus on what we can do to keep security and all of our hardening mechanisms, at the highest levels. And then we're going to continue to focus day in and day out on the preventative measures. So hopefully, if we do this really well, starting from when kids are in pre-K, that we can get to where we prevent some of this anger or violence or behavioral and mental health concerns later on. And I think that if we need to stay the course with that. And really it's about prevention. But again, we're here for our kids, so we can be frustrated all we want, but we're here for our kids and we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure they're safe.
I wanted to ask, just about another, again, some conflicting things that I've seen online. Do you know if this was a drive-by shooting?
I don't think so, but again, Jonathan, do you know any other details that can be shared? I don't have the details.
I do not have a lot of details, and I have not heard that there was a drive-by. I have no indication to think that it was a drive-by. There was a situation that may have occurred, in and around the area that precipitated the actual shooting. But again, we have no reason at this point to believe that it is a student. It very well may be, but we don't know that now. But there is no indication that it was a drive-by. No.
Okay, I saw that.
Yeah, the rumor mill will be rampant, and especially with social media. I mean, it's so.
Superintendent McManus, like you said, we don't know if the suspect or the suspects involved in this case are students, if they're adults, whoever they are. Regardless, what is your message to them?
Yeah. So I will tell you, and we say this, I've said this so many times, but weapons are not, and I know that it was still within our campus. It's still within our campus. Weapons are not allowed anywhere near schools. And any student that if it's a student that brings a weapon on campus is going to face the penalties for that. And that is like suspension, like permanent suspension out of school. And there's varying levels, so it's not one size fits all. It depends on the weapon, but we're talking about firearms in this case. They're not tolerated. It is against the law to have a firearm on or near our campuses, and so again, it is not going to be tolerated. I think not knowing whether these were our students or if it's somebody, an adult or someone outside of the school, I will just tell our families that I am confident with our law enforcement and the actions they will take to punish anyone that has been involved in something like this. But we're going to continue talking to our students to stay, to problem solve their problems in a different way. That violence is not the answer, and never will be. And that honestly, it is not going to be tolerated. Like the fighting, the violence, and I will tell you, and I'm scared to say this, but we've had less this year. I feel like we've had less of it. I know lately on social media you saw the incident at Glenn, you see this tonight, but this year, as far as reporting, we get daily incident reports. It has been less than in the past, and even in bringing firearms to school. So we're going to just stay the course, It is never acceptable. If you are fearful of something, you get help from an adult, a safe, caring person within that school. And so that would be my message. But again, yeah, we are going to do whatever it takes to keep every one of our students safe in our schools. Okay? Okay, thank you all. Thank you.
You have been listening live to Superintendent Trish McManus from Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools speaking after a juvenile was shot on the campus of Reynolds High School today. One student shot after a fight involving a group of students. The student who was shot, he was shot in the leg, and the sheriff said at last check he was in serious condition. Just moments ago during that press conference, district leaders said they are still waiting to hear from law enforcement tonight about the search for those suspects involved. As far as the students there at Reynolds, they are all accounted for, including Wiley and Brunson Elementary Schools. Crisis teams and extra SROs will be on campus tomorrow at Reynolds. The superintendent reiterating the goal is to always keep students safe every second and to make sure students feel safe not only tomorrow but also in the days ahead. She ended her news conference tonight saying our youth in our community must solve this violence in a different way. Before we go tonight, mark your calendars. We just learned that the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office will also provide another update tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. We'll bring you that press conference live on air and online at WXII12.com and also on our digital platforms. In the meantime, we'll have the latest updates tonight at 10 o'clock on the Triad CW and right here at 11 on WXII 12.